I'm Edward, and I've got my good friend Neil from Gorgias here today. Welcome, Neil.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having me.
Good. Now, I guess most of the people listening probably know what Gorgias is, but tell us a little bit more, just in case.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for having me, and hello everybody. So I'm Neil Forrest, and I guess we're here today to delve into the world of e-commerce strategy, but more importantly, like customer service and how we generate revenue from that, which is something that I've been part of for a number of years now. I've worked in like digital and e-com for about 10 years, but currently I manage partnerships at Gorgias, and I've got my own brand called the Tartan Scarf Company. So I'll maybe cover this from like two viewpoints. One from my time at Gorgias, and then if there's anything that I can relate back to with my own brand, then I will. Although I will say that I have pivoted slightly towards more the B2B market. So we'll see.
So scarves
In terms of Gorgias, sorry.
What for gifting? Is that the thing?
Oh, the corporate gifting side of it. Exactly. Yeah. It's easier to deal with customer service when someone orders 300 scarves from you than 300 customers ordering one scarf from you.
Cool.
But yeah, so you were asking about what Gorgias does for those who don't know. So we are the #1 help desk for e-commerce, and it allows merchants to combine all of the support channels that they have with their customers into one place. So that's usually channels like email, phone, live chat, SMS, WhatsApp, all the social media comments and direct messages. So bring them all together and then leverage AI and automation, not using them as buzzwords. We genuinely do use AI and automation to streamline processes and enhance customer satisfaction, and consequently, therefore, drive more revenue through support. I guess one of the main benefits that we have over other help desks is the depth of integration with the e-commerce platforms themselves. So like Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, where like agents can actually carry out actions like creating orders and editing orders and refunds and stuff like that from directly within Gorgias itself. So that's maybe one of the things that we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah. I wanted to go a bit deeper on that. You made a really interesting statement there about customer success is about driving sales. I mean, obviously, a lot of brands, I guess, wouldn't see it as that way. They see customer support as some sort of cost center. And as you say, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, like consumer brands, you do have to interact with a lot of customers. There's lots of tedious questions about where's my order and why is this out of stock, whatever. But to elaborate a bit more on what do you mean by driving sales? What are some of the ways that your support team might do that?
Yeah, well, I guess it kind of depends on the size of the brand as well, and like what metrics are important to that size of brand. We've got 14,000 customers now, and it's from people like of all sizes. People who are literally just starting out, to like huge global brands like Mercedes, Steve Madden, Beer Minerals, whatever.
Yeah,
and some of the some of them some particular metrics will be more important to them than others. So what I mean by that, I guess, so I'll start off by saying that there's a ton of different reasons a customer will need customer support, but broadly speaking, it falls into like two categories, like pre-purchase and post-purchase.
Yeah.
And the way that brands approach these types of interactions and the KPIs associated with them are different for each part of the customer journey. So there's a few different ways that brands can increase or like measure revenue. Obviously, looking at the revenue number itself.
Yeah.
But other brands will focus in on the metrics that kind of come a little bit before that final bottom line. So customer retention figures, repeat purchases, CSAT scores, and just generally like positive brand sentiment or net promoter scores. These are all things that are directly related to customer service that have an impact on the overall revenue.
Yeah. So as you said, that's a nice analogy with the sort of splitting it down to the pre and post purchase. So say pre-purchase is basically all about trying to get people over the line, convince them
exactly
that product can be shipped to them, is going to fit them. I don't know what are the other
Increasing trust is the main thing there.
Yeah, a good way to put it. And then post-purchase, I mean, obviously they've already bought from you, but I guess it's all about giving them a great experience so they come back, right?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the main ways that brands can, or like the main ways we see brands doing this successfully is by automating, or at least giving the user the option to self-serve. So we've probably all been there where you order something and then you would need to return it, or it gets lost, or you've just got a question about it. Usually, where is my order? And if you can go and find that information instantly without having to wait for that brand to respond to you, then that's like the absolute best gold standard of customer service. So if you take like Amazon as an example, like you can pretty much track down to the exact GPS coordinates all of your orders on Amazon.
Yeah.
And that has now become the expectation for most consumers. So if you can do that, not necessarily down to the exact GPS coordinates, but at least figure out what stage it is in transit, then the customer gets the best customer experience, and the brand doesn't have to allocate human resource to that ticket. So come back to your question, like the most successful brands are automating and allowing customers to self-serve.
And does that include editing the order? I know it's a little aside. I mean, there's a few standalone apps allow order editing, because apparently that's one feature that Shopify still doesn't have out of the box. You can't actually, you can't go in and edit an order after the.
We can do that within Gorgias.
Yeah.
So I always think like post-purchase customer experience, like that switch from pre-purchase to post-purchase happens literally as soon as someone pushes checkout, like confirm to pay. Yeah. Because someone might confirm and then they'll be like, oh shit, I've just put in the wrong shipping address. So instantly someone may reach out. Yeah. And if a support agent can then edit that order within Shopify, it makes a huge within Gorgias, it makes a huge difference, and they can.
Well, it's both, right? They edit in Gorgias, but then obviously it feeds that through to Shopify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, so I think that there was one other thing that maybe that came into mind as you were talking there about, I think like the metrics and the things that feed into revenue. And there's a brand that sprung to mind. One of our customers called Pit Viper. The people with like the mad wrap around sunglasses and ski goggles and stuff. So this is an example of brands who didn't focus on just the revenue metric. They just wanted to cut down first response time and improve customer satisfaction. And so it was all focused on like the post-purchase experience for people who were asking, where is my order, and needing shipping updates. And so they actually use another platform called ShipBob, and there's an integration there that we have that allows customers to fully self-serve. And as a result, they automated like 41% of those interactions, got their first response time down to less than 3 hours. Yeah. And as a result, their satisfaction score was like 4.9 out of 5. Yeah. When you take into account all of that amounts to loyal customers who are going to buy again.
So as you know, that's basically solving the where is my order question, which is going to be one of the biggest of the post-purchase journey.
It is absolutely like the number one question in e-commerce. Yeah.
So let's get back to pre-purchase, because I think that's one of the areas. So there's I guess a couple of ways that you're likely to be able to track that. So just to bring it into what Littledata does, obviously for those who don't know, Littledata's helping brands get super accurate data into marketing channels, into Google Analytics, but also Facebook ads, TikTok, Pinterest, and now Klaviyo as well. And I got interested looking into it with Neil last month, that there's first thing you can actually do with Gorgias is actually to track the chat widget on the page. So as you say, people use different modes of support. One of them might be live chat, and what that means, I can just we'll post the article in the links below. But basically, if you use the Gorgias integration in Shopify, there's whenever someone interacts with the live chat, there's a series of events. So there's a kind of Gorgias widget opened, Gorgias widget closed, message received. So this isn't tracking what is sent. That would be person identifiable and probably not something you want to share with Google Analytics. But it's tracking that it is sent. And I think the interesting opportunity here is to then basically figure out how do those messages interact with what's happening on the site. So, for example, I may have, as a brand, all of these 80% of my sales coming from Facebook ads. But we might find out that, by looking at, by splitting the channel and then seeing did those channels have a message received or multiple, you could say more than 3 messages received. I might find out that a lot of that Facebook traffic is actually needing to reach out to help before they buy. And in fact, you can kind of figure out which way around it is as well by building a segment in Google Analytics says, they came to this channel and then they had this event. So I think it's better to go a bit deeper. Like you probably already know, because I'm sure you can see in Gorgias that that those live chat interactions had a good positive net promoter score or satisfactory closed, quick response. The what I would call the kind of operational metrics that's easy to see. The interesting thing is, did it have impact in terms of driving these people to buy, or was that impact only there in interaction with certain geographies, with certain mobile types? Hey, maybe you might find that, for example, live chat's way more effective in desktop than mobile. I mean, that's another thing you can look at. So I think you'd obviously need a certain level of scale for this to be relevant. If you're only just sort of having a few live chats a day, you're not going to have enough volume of data over a period to really see the results. But I'd say, if you're a decent sized store with dozens of interactions going on a day, then over a month or so, you should be able to build some quite interesting analysis. So to do that, you would need to be tracking stuff in Google Analytics, and then you need to use the plugin that's we've built on this page. When I say plugin, it's just a little what we might call a little kind of translator script we drop on the page, which basically just reads what's happening in the Gorgias live chat widget and pings it onto Google Analytics. So that's one way. And then
for me to
come.
I was going to say for me, like out of all the options that this plugin gives merchants, one of like the most globally useful is probably what channel has driven the traffic to the website. Then finding out what level of support interaction there was before they either left a positive CSAT score or negative CSAT score, or if they converted. So it's like, what channel did they come in on? Did they need support, and what was the outcome? I think that is applicable to an interesting data for every merchant.
Well, that's exactly. I mean, obviously that split by purchase by channel group is one of the sort of top things people might look at in Google Analytics. Period. But obviously, basically what we're just saying is then segmenting that by whether they interact with the support widget and also kind of how much they interacted. So I think that's one way you can go deeper. And then the other thing that Littledata helps with is that because we, unlike the sort of out of the box Google Sales channel for Shopify, we track all of the orders to store, including sort of draft orders, recurring orders. So basically, an order created, you may have a situation where the customer gets so far down the purchase journey, a block for some reason, maybe they're confused about something, whatever. And rather than the customer going and finishing the order, basically the agent via Gorgias actually generates that order for assuming it's an existing customer. Now, because as long as that order goes into into Shopify and gets registered as a purchase, that allows you to do two things. The first thing you do is to actually see in Google Analytics that as a channel. I mean, it'll unfortunately, because Google Analytics doesn't have such a concept of orders coming through Gorgias, there's no default channel for that. But you can build a custom report to say, hey, which of my orders were created, where they come from. But you can also go back to that thing about but how did that also interact with the campaign traffic? Was that? So I mean, it's kind of true for recurring orders, but it's also true for what we just talked about there. Like the classic thing is, hey, you have this marketing campaign that drove one small purchase, but actually that customer came back over the next few weeks and months and ended up talking to support a lot more. So being able to see that sort of lifetime value, no matter how they made the order, back to the original campaign is pretty valuable.
Yeah. I think there's another use case that you mentioned. It's like if you're running campaigns, can you even track it back to individual campaigns that might just be like resource stucking and not producing any results? Like, that'd be great to know.
Yeah, because I mean, we're always bang on about that from a general sort of marketing perspective, that a lot of people are basically spending money on campaigns that just don't lead to sales, or maybe lead to customers that do buy but the refund straight away. They're basically very unprofitable customers. But it can also be unprofitable in a different sense, which is they suck a lot of your team's time, because for whatever reason, maybe because they're just confused about the proposition, maybe they the wrong geography, or the wrong demographic. They just they need a lot of support before they even purchase it, if at all. Now, it's quite hard, I would say, to see that within your own ticketing software, because obviously, say the crucial bit of information missing there is which campaign or channel these guys were coming through.
Yeah, which is where this plugin comes in.
Indeedy. So I think that's interesting. What else in terms of if going back to you're a brand trying to sort of improve, because it's a competitive world, right? You've got to I think we were agreeing earlier that CS is one of those areas where you've got to get an edge as a brand, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, everyone aspires to have have friendly efficient customer success, but what are the other sort of metrics a brand might look at to say that they're really nailing it in terms of a useful support operation?
I mean, in terms of like the metrics themselves, I've probably mentioned a few already, but your customer lifetime value.
Yeah.
If you've got a good lifetime value, then you're probably doing something right when it comes to customer service. I think I'm trying to remember the stat now. So in our research, I think 78% of consumers wouldn't return to a brand or would leave a brand within a week if they experience bad customer service. So if we bear that in mind, then there's not very many brands who are going to survive or have a good customer lifetime value if that's the case. So if you have good customer lifetime value, generally speaking, your support should be quite good. In terms of other metrics to focus on is first response time. Like that is, for most support teams, like the biggest metric that they want to get down, particularly when it comes to pre-sale questions and generating conversions. First response time is crucial. So,
and does that even sort of lead, that there's a higher probability to convert if the response time's less?
Yeah. So let's take live chat as a channel. The reason for that is that I'm using this as an example, is it's the highest converting channel. So I think the average conversion rate of live chat tickets on Gorgias is about 12%.
Wow.
If you compare that to email is about 3%, and phone interactions is about 5%. So it's considerably higher.
That's because the customer's kind of right there, sort of able to take action point. They're kind of on the site and
exactly. And if you're able to get the first response time down to under 10 minutes, then live chat tickets, that convert in they get an answer within 10 minutes, converted like 28%, which is
Wow.
huge. So that's why I'd always, if customers, if merchants are really looking for a way to increase revenue through their support, then optimizing live chat is a really, really good way to do that. Even if you to like outsource, like pay to outsource and get like an outsourced agent, that agent, like the money that you should make should be a lot more than what you need to pay for that agent.
Yeah. And right, there are lots of global services now that will give you 24/7 support coverage.
Yeah.
Underneath.
I'm full of stats today. I was reading last week 51% of all customer support interactions are now outsourced by merchants.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. So going back to what we were saying earlier, if a lot of it is quite sort of generic, where's my order? You don't necessarily need to have someone who knows your brand very well to answer that question. I guess there was some of the more kind of pre-sales sort of sizing, styling type stuff, or if it's you have some sort of, I don't know, nutritional supplements or something that takes a bit more knowledge, it might be a bit harder, but yeah. So I think no, that's really interesting. I mean, I actually just go back to lifetime value because it's also something we bang on about. I think lots of brands, want to. Everyone understands that having good high customer lifetime value makes you much more valuable as a business. You're not having to basically carry on plowing so much money into marketing to get going. It's obviously is again the challenge is actually being able to use that and action on it. And I think outside of Gorgias, that's one of the things we're doing with again with the marketing channels is pushing that sort of customer lifetime value into Google Analytics, but also actually that's big for sort of Meta ads and TikTok, because those are again channels where if you can actually guide the algorithms towards finding high lifetime value customers, that's super powerful. Challenge is that in those types of ad networks tend to have very short time scales, so they're not, the algorithms really don't care about what happens months in the future. They tend to be quite geared towards optimizing for people who purchase multiple times within a week. And obviously in most e-commerce brands, that's not really the case. High customer loyalty doesn't mean that they're going to come back to you daily. It means that they're going to remember you.
It's very unlikely.
Yeah. So I think that's a challenge. Is can you sort of we can actually send the lifetime value into these channels, but making use of it sometimes is hard.
I mean, like maybe more broadly speaking, what are the strategies for driving lifetime value that you have been seeing working, I'd say in the last like 12 months, different to what it's been for the last few years?
I don't think the strategies are different. I just think I think that probably there's been more focus on it. I mean, what I've happened in the last 12 months is, and we've seen that with our own sort of business in e-commerce tools, is that people have lots of brands out there, very well funded during the boom years. We're basically growing at all costs, which meant we didn't really mind what the customer paid us next year, the following year doesn't really matter. We just need to get more people in. Again, going back to the point, if the same customer is not going to buy from you again this month, then you just need more customers. So just go out and acquire more net new customers.
Yeah,
but that's expensive, and actually got even more expensive. So a whole load of brands who then right, we're going to get profitable. We're going to stop burning money on all this. That means they've just switched all of their focus to retention marketing, really.
Yep.
It's been a big buzzword, right? I mean, it's really benefited tools like Klaviyo and I'm sure Gorgias as well.
Absolutely.
So I think what that means, going back to, what are the tactics that work? I mean, I think maybe that's quite a good segue into our new Klaviyo integration that we just announced this week. So one of the challenges that brands have on Klaviyo and what we're doing there is to actually better target people who are on your email list, but not sort of logged into the web session when they do something. So a good example though is abandoned cart emails flows. If someone comes to your site, they add something to cart and then they go away and they never interact with you again, there's no way to target them by email. Like, you don't know who they are. You can't send them an email because you don't have their email address. There are some creepy technologies where you can sort of look it up from a big dodgy database, but I don't think anyone wants to do that because it's brand damaging, it's GDPR non-compliant. But there is a completely safe legal way to do it, which is that they are on your database. It's what we call identity resolution. The challenge is, do we know that person who's browsing your site is the same one that also registered their email last week? And so that's effectively what the later integration does, is just allow us to link together a whole load of customer touch points effectively on the web, so that you're more likely when someone adds to cart and abandons to be able to trigger an abandoned cart flow. And so as I said, that does increase lifetime value, because by definition, these aren't new customers. If they've already registered for your email, the likelihood is they have purchased previously from you. I mean, yes, I know some people register for email before they purchase, but one of the main ways you might get on a brand's newsletter list is because you purchased, right?
Yeah.
So effectively, what it's doing is allowing, rather than just be sending out your generic, newsletter type emails to those customers, is enabling the brand to say, you obviously showed interest in this product, you just haven't actually completed the purchase. So, can we give you a voucher, or can we give you some kind of reassurance that is the right thing for you?
So does that mean that now that you have this interaction, we could technically within Klaviyo build flows that have both triggers from Gorgias and Littledata?
Yes, you could do that, exactly. So as you're saying, like the power of Klaviyo's, I mean, and that's, I think their genius as a sort of company is that they recognize that the more sort of data points you have about the customer, the more sort of hyper targeted you can get about the email or SMS marketing. So yeah, Gorgias already send some information, as you can see, kind of what have been previous interactions with the customer, target them based on that. But you could equally say, I want to build a flow of people who Littledata's told me have added to cart, abandoned cart, but also previously interacted with my sport thing. Yeah, you can use both triggers.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think we need to look into that more.
Yeah, because I think I think that's the powerful thing, is that obviously the point about get advertising on Google and Meta and TikTok or wherever is there's an incremental cost every time you want to try and get someone to buy. So the whole point of of trying to maximize email marketing is there's not that same cost. I mean, there's a trivial cost of sending emails, but it's a fixed cost, right? So you don't pay more for Klaviyo because you've got generating more revenue from it. So there's every incentive as a brand to sort of make the campaigns smarter and better performing, because for the same fixed cost of your email marketing, you're getting more revenue. And that's what we're in the game of doing, is allowing you to just more smartly target, because as I said, that whole like personalized outreach and advertising is not a solved problem. Like, so many people talk about it, but we're years into, as you well know, having been in the e-commerce game for a while, like that's still not done very well. There's still lots of dumb advertising out there where you get an email just after you've ordered things saying, do you want a discount? Or there's actually a meat box brand I buy from that send me a 10% discount code to buy every damn week. And it's like, I would have just purchased without the 10% discount, but you keep hammering the discounts. Like,
and they should be able to identify that this customer is buying without a discount.
Doesn't need the discount. So I think there's lots of stuff like that to fix. But the challenge, as I said, particularly for email marketing, is just is linking together that kind of anonymous web visit where the customer isn't logged in, And in fact, there might be something quite interesting there with the. I might look into that as well with the Gorgias live chat, because presumably when someone initiates a live chat, they effectively have to. I mean, they give the email as part of the flow, right?
Depends. So it's not like they don't have to. It's an option that brands can have turned on or off.
Yeah. If they do, there might be an opportunity to use that as another identifying point. So,
Yeah, without a doubt, you can use that to trigger, like to trigger flows within Klaviyo.
Good. Well, that's pretty much all I think we have time for today. My cough lasted out a bit better than I thought. So,
Yeah, you did well.
thanks very much for coming on, and yeah, we'll include a few more links to the chat about the current Littledata and Gorgias plugin, and please do ask us any other questions about how it works together. Thanks very much, Neil.
Nice one. All right. Cheers, Ed.